So we are done with our first unit of class, Epistemology, and moving into the second unit, Aesthetics. Now, I'm going to bet my bottom dollar that all of you have conversations in relation to aesthetics, even if you don't know what it is. So for those of you who have no idea what that word means, I'm going to hit you with the egghead definition out of the gate. So what are aesthetics? It's the branch of philosophy dealing with such notions as the beautiful, the ugly, the sublime, the comic, etc., as applicable to the fine arts, with a view to establishing the meaning and validity of critical judgments concerning works of art and the principles underlying or justifying such judgments, the study of the mind and emotions in relation to the sense of beauty. Now I'm going to make an argument the two most important words are right here. There they are, critical judgments, because anybody can say, I like something, I like something, I like something. I mean, toddlers do that. But what takes you to another level as a philosopher is being able to have a critical judgment based upon your likes and dislikes. So it doesn't have to be all heavy duty. It can be this band is a better band than this band. Okay, so be it. That's a claim. That's an assertion. But why do you back that up? That car is a better car than this car. Again, aesthetics oftentimes is the lighthearted stuff, the stuff you're going to be talking about in dorm rooms and coffee houses and bars. So here's an example. Art. Okay, so if I were to say Van Gogh, Da Vinci, Elvis and Jesus on Velvet, why does this have more validity in the art world than this? If I were to say, well, I like this because it's got red, it's pretty. Okay, that's probably a starting point. But again, being able to formulate an opinion, being able to formulate judgment, it applies to art. It applies to architecture. The Hagia Sophia, the Taj Mahal, a house in the shape of a dog. Okay, well, let's look at these three. And can you make critical judgments based upon their architecture? What stories are they trying to tell? It applies, like I said, to art, to architecture, to music. Beethoven, Aretha Franklin, Nickelback. Should they all be together on the same slide right here? And again, you have to ask yourself, why is Beethoven held in this regard and Nickelback held in this regard? So this is the fun stuff, you know, music and architecture and art. Attractiveness. Okay, he was deemed the sexiest man alive. She was deemed Miss Universe. These are supposedly the most attractive people, which they are. And then there's this guy, some regular schlub. Okay, where does he fit onto the attractiveness scale? And again, we do this all the time, you know, such and such is better looking than this reason. Now we're going to look into why this is. Is it pheromonal? Is it mathematical? Is it based on sociology? A combination of everything. So we're going to address human attractiveness. Why some people are more attractive than others, or at least appear in our minds to be more attractive than others. Film. So Goodfellas, Citizen Kane, and Adam Sandler's Jack and Jill. Okay, so if you can tell me why Jack and Jill is a better movie than either of these two, I will hear your argument. But again, critical thinking, and we talk about this all the time. This is considered the greatest movie ever made, and this is not. And there's a reason for that. So film. Design, and it can be many things to design. So I could have filled in a lot of different examples. This is the Motor City, so let's show some motors. So we have the Lamborghini, we have the 65 Mustang, and oh my God, what is this? So why is one design better? What are they trying to say with design? It can be home goods, it can be cars, it can be many things, but it all applies to aesthetics. And it even applies to math and science. The Fibonacci spiral, the golden ratio. Some people say that beauty, aesthetic beauty, is essentially a mathematical formula, and we see the golden ratio, we see Fibonacci spiral again and again and again, and the natural world. This is beauty. Now, it would be hard to make an argument otherwise, unless you're really allergic to flowers. But some people have these lighthearted conversations saying, oh, the beach is better than the mountains. No, the mountains are better than the beach. Again, any claim you make regarding aesthetics, being able to have critical judgment to buttress whatever you feel. So I gave you on our first day a little experiment. Unusual day. I said, okay, go out into the school, go out into the grounds, and I want you to find three things: beauty, ugly, and unusual. And I'm taking three examples of the work that you came up with. Now, this picture of the football field with the snow around the side, with football season soon upon us, was taken by a football player. Now, I'm not saying it's not pretty, but could the composition be different? Why is it so pretty to them? Somebody took a photo of student art, which I think is fantastic. This is Katie Reitzel's art, did a great job with this. And even this is the board going into the gym. Somebody took the time and effort to take the pictures of the wrestling season and arrange it in a way that's aesthetically pleasing. Would it look worse if everything was stacked line by line by line? Somebody took the time and effort. So why is this more appealing to the eye than doing it other ways? Okay, so this is the stuff you came up with for beauty. And in Clarenceville, ugly. Same school, same building, and we have a light full of dead insects. We have an exposed pipe rusting here, and somebody took wet toilet paper and threw it on the ceiling so it sticks, and there's some nondescript blackish brown something. Okay, same school. They said, this is ugly. That is beauty. This is ugly. Then I asked you for Clarenceville unusual. Well, we came up with a room full of desks and whatnot. I guess they deemed that unusual. Somebody called this unusual. We have a school, a bridge, and a school with a circular thing. I don't quite understand why that is. And one of the teachers has a stuffed Scooby-Doo covered in Hawaiian lace. They said that's unusual. And again, very subjective. Some are more subjective than others. Unusual is more subjective than ugly. It's hard to say, wow, dead insects in a old light looks great. Wow, this rusty pipe and this rolled up toilet paper is fantastic. This had a lot more subjectivity, and that was by design. So we had a good talk. But again, I harped upon these two words: critical thinking, looking at it critically. So these are the 8 criteria that we're going to be using throughout this unit. So whatever I throw at you, think of it like an algebraic variable, whether it be architecture, whether it be attractiveness, whether it be film or nature. Okay, you can plug in the variables however you want, but these are the 8 areas. Area number 1 is the concept. Often these take the form of adjectives that people use to attempt to create something. So they say, wow, that's ridiculous, or wow, that shocked me, or wow, how beautiful was that? Generally, the concept take the form of an adjective. Number 2 is the value. So when somebody creates the art, is it for a practical purpose? Is it for a spiritual purpose? If you go into a church, oftentimes beautiful stained glass, not practical, but it's supposed to inspire awe and something inside of you. Is it for humor? So what value does it hold? And again, these all vary between people. Oftentimes people see this differently. Number 3 is the attitude. From what mindset is the artist coming from in creating the art, the attitude of the artist, whether it be musical, painting, or what have you. Intentions. What was the artist intending to do by creating this piece of art? Is this even a relevant question? So you have to ask yourself, are intentions important? Some people do deem them as important, whereas others don't. Definition of art. So what constitutes art? How do you define art? What designates something as a particular type of art? Good art, bad art, high art, low art, outsider art, and even the designations that we give to certain pieces, impressionism, pointillism, what have you, expression. This is my favorite area, the audience's response to the artwork. Did it make the audience emote in the way the artist intended them to emote? Are there higher levels of expression than others? And again, very different. I take you to a concert that's got a mosh pit and really loud music. That's a different sort of energy where people tear up at the opera, right? Different expressions. Representation. How well does the art expression represent the subject of the piece? Now, is it accuracy? Is that most important to you? Is it emotion that's most important? Isn't art simply copying what you're seeing, or is it deeper? And again, a lot of debate within this area. And the final criteria that we're going to be using is the art object, discerning between the musical score and the performance, or the script and the performance. What is the mission of the art, and was it accomplished? In other words, how much creativity was given to expand upon the initial recipe? In a sense, was mission accomplished? So I look forward to getting more in depth over the next couple of weeks in Unit 2. And should be some fun conversations, and we had a great start today, and I appreciate you watching.